and welcome to A Mighty Blaze. It is Pub Day Tuesday, and kicking off this incredibly special day is the author of Hello Summer, the Queen of Summer, Mary Kay Andrews. Mary Kay and I we did a podcast, but part of the fun of being in quarantine is getting to see people again. So welcome to A Mighty Blaze. Like I said, Robin Kall of Reading with Robin, and what else? And happy Cinco de Mayo. So it's like Cinco de Mayo Book Pub Day.
Yes.
Are you doing anything especially Cinco de Mayo-y for publication?
I have the makings for margaritas chilling.
Ooh, you do. What time is margarita time?
At 5. Cinco 5 at 5 at 5.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say, it's moved back. There's a time difference now all of a sudden because people are just, but you have to have something to look forward to. And I am going to give you a proper introduction. Mary Kay Andrews is the New York Times bestselling author of Sunset Beach, The High Tide Club, The Beach House Cookbook, which is so gorgeous. So many of our favorites. This Hello Summer is her 27th novel. She lives in Atlanta. Right now she is elsewhere, and she's also a former journalist for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And we're going to talk about journalism, and she has a Cinco de Mayo themed launch tonight. Oh, that's why you said 5 o'clock, at 5. And you can go to Foxtail Bookshop in Woodstock, Georgia, and get the Zoom link. And I think it's 20% off the book, and then you get the Zoom link. Is that right?
Yeah. And an indie bookstore, which we all love.
Oh, we love them. I love Foxtail. I've never been there, but I've communicated back and forth, and some of our favorite authors down there. And here it is. It's a very little book. It's a slim volume.
And the finished book is not as thick because they were in such a rush. See, so that's the the early galleys. And
this is a real early. Well, I could tell by the print, certainly. But yes, I know a finished copy is on its way to me. It could even be at the door. But I figured you could tell by the margins. But you know what? It doesn't scare me because where am I going? And this is the time that you want to sink in with such, just a delicious kind of, grab your arms around it kind of read, because it's summer reading. What is it? I mean, because this is what you write, but people just can't get enough of the summer reading.
I am proud to say that I write escapist novels. And this year and this spring, summer, people really want to get away more than they ever had before. So I think a summer beach read is a page turner. I think it keeps you guessing. I want characters that my readers can believe in and relate to, and I want them to root for my characters because, their lives are turned inside out and upside down, especially in Hello Summer. My protagonist is a big city journalist who, is out of a job and has to find a new job and a new way to live. And so she literally heads to the beach.
So it's, and home and working for her sister. So you've got family tension and you've got big city journalists coming back, sort of, foxtail between her legs, I don't know, kind of thing. And it's really an interesting thing too, as far as being a journalist and having that discipline to be able to write like you do. I mean, so was that something, I would assume, that really helps to keep you on track and focused and having such a curious mind and knowing where to go for the info?
Yeah, I think journalism is great training for fiction. Of course, deadlines are the biggie. You write whether the muse is with you or not. And do I blow deadlines? Oh my God, do I blow those? Editor and my agent can tell you, I just go. But you learn to write whether the muse is sitting on your shoulder or not, and you learn to listen, because when you're a journalist and you ask questions, you're interviewing people. It's really important to listen because you want to get everything right. And so I think that helped. Me develop an ear for believable dialogue. I love writing dialogue. I like to listen to the way people speak. It teaches you structure, story structure, beginning, middle, end. And so, yeah, it's great. It's great training
Are
for
you a
beginners.
wonderful eavesdropper? You said you like dialogue, because
Love to eavesdrop.
don't
Yes.
you? Me too. I do. Do you scribble or?
I just kind of tuck it away up here, and then what happens. One of the reasons I'm really missing a real book tour this year is people tell me the most amazing stories. I must be like a bartender. I have well, I'll tell her. She'll never tell anybody else. Tell me amazing stuff that I would never tell a stranger. People tell me, and
Well, that
lots
you
of
don't feel like you don't feel like a stranger, and that's the thing. People feel like they know you, like you're a trusted friend telling them a story. And yeah, I could see where people would tell you that stuff, but it must be just mind, because when people connect to things in your story, or you've written about a situation or family situation or secrets or something, and they've had something similar, they feel. And Hello Summer is an advice column, so you are.
it's the gossip
I'm
column.
sorry, gossip. I'm sorry. No, so you are qualified for gossip or advice, but you didn't advise novel advice. Is that what in Parade magazine?
Oh, I gave I can't believe anybody asked me for advice, but they did. Yeah, somebody asked me. Parade magazine has got a column, Ask a Novelist, I think, and
Yeah, I love that.
yeah, someone said, well, I moved away from home some years ago, and I'm living in the city, not in the small town I'm from, but now my sister's in my small town, and now I feel jealous, and should I move back or should I stay here? And so I just gave an advice to strangers, which I'm thinking about putting a card table up on the boardwalk here, and
Why not?
5 cents. I'll
Right.
give you
6 feet away, 5 cents. Just throw it at me like a toll going through a bridge. Yeah, well, because that's the best kind of advice, really, is from somebody who sees the world in a way and knows a lot, and that's how you get wise, I think. And so, yeah, but gossip's really fun. What did you base that kind of column on, and things that you find interesting to read? Gossip.
well, I'd been reading small town newspapers, weeklies, for a while, and I have friends who actually own a great small town weekly paper in a town, Madison, Georgia, and actually I set the novel Hissy Fit in Madison.
Yeah, I remember Hissy Fit.
Yeah, I got to know the owners of the paper, and so that was how I got interested in that. And, small town gossip is sort of like the church picnic and who's got engaged and all that kind of stuff. And so the name of the column in the newspaper is called Hello Summer, and the columnist is a sort of a fixture in the community. Her name is Rowena Meigs, and she's in her 70s or so, and she's actually based on a society columnist that I worked with at the Atlanta Journal many years ago. This lady was an icon. Her name was Yolanda Gwynn, and she had actually covered the premiere of Gone with the Wind. That's how long she'd been in Atlanta.
Wow.
She was a character.
She
So
must have been quite a character. Yeah. What'd she drink? What was her drink?
Well, she didn't drink in the newsroom. I'm sure she drank probably martinis. I don't know, but she had a hard time getting spelling right, and she would get names wrong. And but she was a fixture, and by God, she was not leaving that paper on her own.
Right. Yeah.
Some stuff about her is literally straight based on this lady I work with.
That's fascinating. Yeah, details are just like details. Spelling, and there was not spell check then. Not that spell check also even works all the time. So talk about Conley, your main characters. I love a character-driven story and dialogue. I mean, that's like my kind of read. It's like you said, it's a page turner, and I haven't been that focused on reading. I've tried, but it's just been distracting. But what I love hearing from readers is that they are just hungry for all of these books. And so that, and they'll be waiting for us when we can ever, although I guess you can't go backwards because you just keep moving forwards, but I still do. And I think that, I don't know, there's just something about a small town because there are generational secrets, and it's, the people that sort of know well, it's their version, but like talk about, well, without giving secrets away, who, you know, what you can share and who are the, you know, the keeper of the, you know, the character of the town, and uh, who's a little loose with their talking. I guess.
Well, the protagonist of Hello Summer, her name is Conley Hawkins, and she's been a big city investigative newspaper reporter. At the beginning of the book, the job she thinks she has gone away, and she goes home very reluctantly. And at the beginning of the book, you don't know why she dreads going home so much. You know, she doesn't want to work for the family-owned, struggling weekly paper. It's quite a step down for her. She doesn't want to work for her older sister because there's a lot of sibling rivalry. And there's some family issues, some unresolved family issues. But she loves her grandmother. Her grandmother is the grande dame of the town.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, G Mama. And she owns a fabulous old beach house on the Gulf called the Dunes. And G Mama actually does know where a lot of the bodies are buried. She knows some of the things that Conley doesn't believe she knows. So, and then there's a romance, a budding romance. The boy, literally the boy next door, he grew up 2 doors down from Conley, and his family owns the little family-owned pharmacy in this town of Silver Bay. And he was kind of Conley's first crush that she's outgrown. He's gotten married, and stuff has happened with him. He's taken care of his elderly mom who has dementia. And so when she goes home, she bumps into him at the American Legion bar. The only place to drink late at night in this little town is the American Legion bar, about 30 miles from town. So, and when I started writing this novel, I didn't know a lot of this stuff. So she bumps into him in the bar at the Legion, and I thought, okay, what's this about? Who's this guy?
Yeah.
And so his name is Skelly, Sean Kelly. He was the skinny, you know, beanpole that she, went to a dance with, or actually got dumped. He dumped her. But anyway, it was, there are secrets in this small town, and there are heartaches, and there's a political scandal that's brewing.
I love that. Coming, you know, I almost said coming from Rhode Island. I'm from New York. I forget sometimes, it's been 35 years, but living in Rhode Island, as soon as I start reading political scandal, it just feels so much like home. And also the idea of like bumping into that guy, because there's always that guy, you know. Do you ever really sort of get over that? Is that always in some way still there? And so, and you know, prodigal daughter returns home and runs into that guy. It is always interesting to me because it's never as, each of them doesn't even ever see it the same way. So I love that cozy part of the story.
Yeah, and you know, what I just have come to realize is that I love a slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
I love a slow burn romance where things take time to build, and for people to realize that there's a real attraction. And so that's sort of what happens in this book. There's this, I think, I hope readers are enjoying it.
Yes, you make us wait. And you know, it's kind of like now, because I know people are like meeting online now.
Yeah.
And I've been reading from some of these younger bloggers who normally, you know, I don't know what the rule is with 1 date, 2 dates, or whatever. And now it's like 7 weeks of online dating or getting to know somebody. So there is something about that, and Southern charm, and having more of a, you know, it is more romantic. So, oops, I just hit my screen. But yeah, talk a little bit about the scandal and what you based that on, because that
Literally ripped from the headlines inspired story. I'm a big obituary reader. I love to read obituaries, and I was reading the obituaries in my hometown paper in St. Pete, Florida, and I saw a story about the area's longtime, very conservative Republican congressman who had died. And the story was actually written like by my oldest childhood friend, who was a reporter for the paper, and it talked about you know, the funeral. And of course, they had a big funeral, And at the funeral, his son stood up to give a eulogy and started out by saying, I know that my mother and my siblings are mourning the loss of my dad. And I also know that my father's first secret family is also mourning. And of course, people in the church went, what?
What? I mean, I was thinking like, right?
This congressman had been married for 35 years and had grown children. I think there were 4 grown children, grandchildren, and he was in his 50s and he was in DC and he had an affair with his 25-year-old secretary.
No.
And she got pregnant. And he went to his wife and said, this is the situation. And he had his divorce attorney say to her, if you will go very quietly, we need this divorce done very quickly and very quietly. And if you don't make any waves and just go away, you will get alimony for the rest of your life. But if you fight this and make waves and make a scandal, then things are not going to go well for you. And so she was a stay-at-home mom, and she didn't have any money. She didn't have any choice. So that story, I think I have a brain, Robin, like a lint trap, and that story stuck in my mind. And so when I started writing Hello Summer, I knew that Conley was going to go home to her hometown, and she needed a big, juicy story, a scandal to get her teeth into.
Big, juicy story like this.
Yeah, juicy story. And so I thought, okay, my characters are different in a lot of ways, but so that's kind of, it's like literally a rip from the headline inspired story.
I love that. Well, right, because it's truth is stranger than fiction or whatever. I mean, I love, just like with the craziest thing you can imagine. Like, can you imagine something happens from Wuhan, China, and we're all in our homes for 7 to 12 weeks or 3 months? Like, you'd go, no, never going to happen. We could never handle that.
Nobody knows when lockdown will be over. So what I hope is that people are anxious and stressed and worried and sad. And so I hope that my book will be an antidote to that. And I say, it's like I want it to be like a margarita. I want it to be a little salty, a little sweet, a little tangy, right, but tasty and easy going down. And at the end, it gives you a slight buzz, right?
Yes, it gives you total buzz. I mean, right, that just everything a margarita should do. So at 5 o'clock, you're going to be serving up your margaritas. So they're chilling. So where can people go? Do they go right to Foxtail Books, or?
They can go to Foxtail Books, or they can actually go to my website.
Right, go to marykateandrews.com. You've got an amazing website.
Thank you. We work hard to keep it interesting, and I want people to go to it and be able to find out, here's where I can go to a virtual book signing, to buy the book. And there are links. If you go to bookshop.com, there's a link on my website that takes you to an indie bookstore, and you can buy it. And right now, Amazon doesn't need our money. They got enough money. They got right. Indie bookstores, we can keep them going, and they are such a vital part of our community. That's really what I hope will happen.
I think so. I mean, people seem to really be rallying, and that's what I hope. I interviewed Alex George yesterday, and he was sitting in his Skylark bookshop, and I was just peeking over his shoulder, and we were talking about, he wrote that great article in Washington Post about how books are essential. And so we're really encouraging people to go to bookshop.org. Also go to marykateandrews.com, and you can click on all the links. It's just beautiful and bright and all things beachy. And
they can actually go to my Facebook page. And they can see, this morning I went out at sunrise and shot a sunrise on the beach here on Tybee Island, just to say, hello, summer.
Hello, Summer. I know, it's a great title too. I mean, this is your 27th novel. And so do you think, you have great titles, and there's an expectation.
My editor came up with this title, and I fought her on it for a while. I didn't love it. So I'm glad now that she got the final say.
We only see what we see. We don't know the back. When I got it, I was like, oh my God, that's so clever. How how has that not been used? I don't ever remember seeing that. So I was like, that's very clever. And I also know from, I mean, so many of your fans that I hear from, they just, people cannot wait to get the next Mary Kay Andrews book. I mean, it's a passage of, it's a rite of passage. That means summer has arrived. Yours, Ellen's, Nancy Thayer, Mary, Alice Monroe. I don't want to forget anybody. Did I forget anybody? Well, Jen Weiner's Big Summer is out today. It's a huge summary kind of, it's May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, but it feels like we're into the summer. And if ever we needed these kinds of awesome, escape, beachy, juicy, delicious books and a margarita.
Yeah.
It's now. So go to maryKandrews.com, and then from there you can go to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and follow along and click on the links. And then if you can join in tonight, that's at 5:00. So you bring your own margarita, I guess, right? Yeah. You're not pouring them for anybody.
My daughter.
Pardon?
My daughter.
What kind of margarita did you make? Did you make like a basic one, or did you?
Basic, just a basic one, yeah.
And you got those nice margarita glasses. You're all set. Yeah.
What's that?
All set.
Find a sombrero.
I have one somewhere. I have one from like some trip from a million years ago, and a piñata too. Just haven't been that it's just been so overwhelming, because normally I think we're going to try and do veggie tacos tonight at least. But before I let you go, what are some of your other favorites to recommend? Other books that are coming out, or did I just say them all?
Yeah, well, you said a lot of them. I know that my friend Laura Lipman has a nonfiction collection of short stories out today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that comes out today. It's nonfiction short stories. I think it's called My Life as a Villain.
That's great. I actually posted on it. Yeah.
And my friend Jamie Brenner has a great book out today. Yeah, Summer Longing.
I will be with Jamie at 3:00.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's a big day.
It's a big day, yeah.
It is. Well, it was a pleasure speaking to you on behalf of A Mighty Blaze, and enjoy those margaritas. I'll be looking for the pictures later. And yeah, the Pub Day fun will continue. We will be back we're switching it up a little to A Good Marriage. So it's a little bit not as sunny and light at all. And I will be back at 1:00 with Kimberly. And thank you so much, Mary Kay.
Be with you. Thanks again.